My name is Jerry Carew, and I spent about 30 years in the newspaper business. Prior to that, I was 3 or 4 years in the radio business. But I've also shot wedding videos on the side, and I found some old footage of the printing press from the Telegram in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. And I was fascinated by the reminiscing and the thoughts that came into my mind as I watched it. And the thought of the transition of information from printed word into the digital sphere scared a lot of people. And but as you watch this footage, I can't help but think about the transition of radio and television and newspapers from a medium that was frankly antiquated into a methodology of getting information out there. I know when we worked in the industry, we lamented the fact that it was changing. But in my head, as I was asked to take on a role of the digital transformation specialist, digital change agent, it just kind of made sense to me that changing the way that the information got out there should not affect the ability to make money. And in fact, since I've left the newspaper business in 2018, I've made a career or a new change, a new shift into podcasting. And myself and my business partner created a company called Gale Force Winds. And in reflecting upon the way the newspaper business has gone, I think there's room for journalism in a digital format. I think the challenge is the journalists will need to take on a business orientation to make a go of it, or people like myself with a business background will end up hiring them. But, again, back to the concept of delivering news through, frankly, dead trees is in this day and age a preposterous thought. And if I was to think, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, when the young people of that day and age think back, the concept of actually getting information out in a methodology like that would be outrageous to them. I'll never forget my son when he was younger. He was probably 4 or 5. This would have been 15 years ago. He devised a Minecraft world where the paper, or I guess the information, was delivered to every home using some sort of a floating informational device, almost like an aqueduct. And it was really, I guess, for me, looking at a young boy, only 5, 6, 7, whatever he was, it was like, yeah, he's envisioning the dissemination of information going out in a way that doesn't need to be lifted up. I mean, the concept of actually having information printed on paper and the physical challenge of that is just outrageous. Now, I mean, it served its time when it needed to be done that way, but it certainly doesn't need to be done that way anymore. And again, the footage of the printing press that I have going here really brought back to my mind the concept of, again, taking the information, printing on paper. And I mean, the process of that is so labor intensive. And then taking every single individual paper and having to package it and deliver it, and all the trucks and the gas and the inefficiencies of that is still something that, I contributed greatly to that industry over the years, but I also know that I don't lament it. There is an industry post printing on paper. And the challenge again is, the economy and trying to figure out the economics of making that happen. But there's lots of examples out there of people making money in the digital world, and the dissemination digitally is so rapid. It's an exciting time to be in the podcasting business for me, with a company called Gale Force Winds. Gale Force Winds as a podcast, started as a podcast using this platform, digital Zoom platform in the pandemic, and it's morphed into face-to-face. But I don't know how you as a viewer would watch and just, get your information now. I personally worked really hard and believed in the traditional media and how important they were to the democratic fabric of our society. But I also think optimistically about how it's being transformed into a beautiful informational dissemination. That's not to say it doesn't come without its challenges. Twitter for me is a very difficult place to spend time because of the fractional information and not only that, the disinformation. So yeah, not without its pitfalls, but certainly there's just an ability to get information out there quickly. And I think building a brand, individuals with journalistic background and building trust in a brand is something that will, I think, serve well into the future. Those that watch Gale Force Winds, for example, we've done our best to make sure that what we do is authentic and trustworthy. Now, of course, you bring artificial intelligence into this and the ability for someone to probably overtake your brand, steal your brand, and put videos up that actually are not true. That is somewhat worrisome. If someone could take over and start disseminating videos pretending that they are trusted brands, then that is not easy as well. Or that would not be easy. So we're going to have to figure out how to navigate through that. Again, though, I'm incredibly, as a person who came from the traditional media business, about 30, 35 years experience in it, I do not lament the loss and the challenge that the existing infrastructure feels. There's innovation that is going to replace that. And those that are in the traditional media are going to have to make changes and get used to it. So again, the footage of the printing press that you've been seeing going through this video is why I felt to come on and just state my thoughts on this. If you have any thoughts yourself, I'm definitely interested in hearing them. I think it's an important topic because the fabric of our democracy is hinged upon reporting and journalism. Again, I don't lament the traditional methodology of getting the information out there. I think that journalism is going to transition into something much more beautiful than it has been. Again, send a note, make a comment. Thanks.